Consistency, consistency, and consistency. Consistency reveals the benefits. You hear me? Consistency reveals the benefits, but it takes consistency to go through the process. And we're going through the process whether we choose to or not, because the process is called life. But how we go through life, how we handle the experiences that life allow us to go through, as long as it's holding itself within our physical form, it's gonna make the difference. And more so, how we use our mind. You hear me? How are you using your mind? You know, I take pleasure in being me, and all that details, and all that accounts for, because I'm always building. Every moment, every experience, every thought, every feeling, I'm always building, always digging within me for what's deeper, for what's broader, for what need to be addressed and need to be confronted in order to pull me further up. You hear me? In peace, in happiness, in love. And in order for me to experience those things, I have to make it. I have to make room in order for it to be made. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. And you make it by tapping into it. You hear me? You want peace, you gotta tap into it. You want happiness, you gotta tap into it. You want joy, you gotta tap into it. You wanna feel good for no reason at all, you gotta tap into it. You hear me? It's always there, it's always around. You know, it's a locker room full of things, full of energies, full of entities, full of beings. We're all around us. Unseen to the physical eye, but always felt through frequency, through vibration, through resonance, depending on how you vibrate. You don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? You wanna feel good for no reason at all, you gotta make it. Whatever you want, you gotta make it. The same way we put work, we put time, we put energy, we put effort in acquiring things that consist of the external, things outside us. When it comes to things invisible, that's also real to us, like peace, happiness, joy, love, figure me. We gotta make, we responsible to make it too. It's the same process. It's just not in the physical realm, or not towards the physical realm. It's towards the emotional realm, which is the mental realm, which is the spiritual realm. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? The question is, what's in the way between me? What's in the way between you and any of those things that I just mentioned? What's in the way? Except us. You hear me? Except me. Except you. If that's what's in the way. And if that ain't what's in the way, then what's in the way? That's maybe a question we need to be asking ourselves. And I did. And when I figured that out, I got me out the way and pulled my higher self in to get free. At least to start getting free. You hear me? I ain't floating yet. Y'all don't see me floating yet above this table, so I ain't in that space that I foresee. You don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But when I figured that out, I got me out the way. I don't know who I might be talking to that still may have them lower self-wise in the way. You hear me? And that's why you can't pull the higher self in. It ain't gonna come sit amongst our mess. Our higher selves ain't gonna come sit amongst ourselves. So we gotta deal with the mess wherever we at in it. You hear me? And pull ourselves up. You hear me? Cause our higher self ain't gonna come sit in low vibrational things. You hear me? So to get free, we're gonna have to get something out the way. To be human is to be divine, and that's the beauty in all I just said. Because to be human is to be divine. You hear me? And that say a lot of things in a lot of ways, because we got all kind of beings here amongst us. You hear me? So divine just the divine don't mean good, and divine don't mean bad. It could be positive, negative, or indifferent. You hear me? But how are we using our mind? It's gonna make a difference. Till we all free. Till we all free. And that says so much to me, because we all creating. We all creating. Whatever that may be, whatever that may mean, and whatever that is, we all doing it at the same time. You hear me? Right now, no matter what phase we in, what phase of life we in, or what phase of life we on. You hear me? Because all of us ain't on the same kind of time. You hear me? Though we may interconnect, in certain portions of timelines, in the timeline that we in. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But that has a lot to do with what we be focused on. You hear me? And what we entertain, on what we choose to tune into, or if we tuned in at all. You hear me? In the course of how we vibrate and how we radiate, and a whole lot of other factors. Being responsible for what we sync, what we be in sync with, and what we don't need to be in sync with. That's accountability. And self-awareness establishes an awareness to be more accountable, more responsible. The more self-aware we become, the more responsible we become of our self-awareness. The more responsible we become of our self-awareness, the more we become accountable of being aware in the first place. You hear me? Moment to moment, thought by thought, emotion by emotion, and action by action. Because one occurrence trigger the next. You hear me? Or one layer trigger the next. It's called being aware of our energetic reality. And not losing track of our energy. And as we all operate in it. You hear me? Knowing our calling. And know what we're calling in. You hear me? Because this is not by chance. This is not by accident. This is not by coincidence. This is not by luck. It's on purpose. If we here on this planet, it's by purpose. If we're alive, it's by purpose. If you here listen to this video, it's by purpose. It's not by chance. You attracted this moment. Same way I attracted this moment to make a moment, to create a space, to build an environment. You attracted this moment by being here. You were doing the same thing from the other end. We gotta understand how this works. You attracted this insight, this knowledge. I'm just transmitting it, but you attracted it. So therefore, that means you attracted this video. If you're sitting on the other side of what's being said, then you attracted this moment. That may resonate with people differently, depending on where you're vibrating at. How much understanding of it all that you have of yourself, of it all that you have in yourself, of it all that you have in yourself. You see me? Because and one self is every self. So if you here in the right place at the right time. Regardless of the reason. You hear me? That's on you. Whatever the reason is, that's on you. I'm just playing my part, because we all cooperative components. You hear me? We are all cooperative components. That means we all as people represent reflections of us. We as people represent reflections of one another. And those reflections represent how we see ourselves. So be aware of who you entertain and what you entertain. That's what that taught me. If everybody is a reflection of me, then the more I became aware of myself, I started becoming more aware of the type of people I entertain. And then as needed and where needed, you start making corrections. You know, you start pruning things. You hear me? And being aware of ourselves in all interactions, being aware of how I treat people, you know, and how people treat me. Because the people represent reflections of ourselves, and those reflections represent how we see ourselves. Then I had to pay attention to how I treat people and pay attention to how people treat me. You know? Now, whether or not that means we don't treat people how we want to be treated, or we learn to treat people as they treat themselves, it's totally up to us. You hear me? But how you treat people has a lot to do with or how we treat people. You see, let me make it universal. Or how I treat people has a lot to do with the way we treat ourselves. And it may be a wrestle for some to see it, and it may be a wrestle to some that accept it. But for those that do, for those who do see it, for those who do accept it, you know the reality in it, and in the sense that it calls you to make changes in your treatment to yourself, and make changes in the treatment that you extend to others, as well as to know what you expect to receive in the treatment from others according to how you treat yourself. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? How do I treat people? I don't treat people how I want to be treated. Not no more. Good science is good observation. So to acquire a state of good science, I had to do even more observation. You hear me? Because trial experiments don't get it right on the first time. You hear me? How do you treat people? That's the question. How do you treat people? Do you treat people like you treat yourself? And then in some cases, we'll treat others better than we treat ourselves. That's the truth. That's the truth not many willing to tell. That's the truth not many people willing to tell. Sometimes we treat others better than we treat ourselves. You hear me? We'll talk down on ourselves on the inside of ourselves, dog ass nasty. But we won't never tell nobody that. You hear me? But I just know human behavior. I just know human psychology. So, you know, I know we're capable of doing that. So if you don't do that, applause. And if you have done it, applause. And then if you recognize you doing it, applause. Now you can do something to change it. You hear me? But I get it. I've been there. I've done that. You hear me? I learned from it. And I ain't stay there. I, you know, confront it, address it, keep it pushing. You know? And I just came through for a word of encouragement for us to keep it pushing. You know? Keep digging. Keep digging. And keep doing some more digging. You know? The more we dig, we see what's there and need to be pulled up as we pull ourselves up. You hear me? And in that, you will have something to offer because you got something to give. You hear me? You will have something to offer because you got something to give. But what we can't continue to keep doing, you know, it is giving what we became used to and got used to the point that that's all we had to give. You see, we can't do none of that no more, none of that toxicity and stuff, because all that 9 times out of 10 came from toxic, narcissistic, lower vibrational places. So now that we're well, we ain't doing none of that no more. You hear me? A new world requires new people. There's benefits that come with the process, but a new world requires new people. And since we can't become something other than what we already is, then we're going to have to become something better than what we've been being. You hear me? Mentally, physically, and spiritually. And if we do those three, the emotional part will be in check. You hear me? Each and every day, consistency. Benefits come with the process, but you won't know it unless you're willing to go through the process. Everybody wants something, but ain't willing to go through nothing to get what they want. We heard it before, you hear me? But in spiritual work, it's the same process. So salute to those who chose to go through what you came here to get through, you hear me? And making it easier for those that you're being the example for. I appreciate you, you hear me? It's not by chance, it's not by coincidence, it's on purpose, you hear me? That concludes the day's message for the day. I just came through the center spark, center charge, you know, as I charge myself, you know, we charge one another. I am, I feel, I do, I see, I speak, I love, I know, you hear me? Feel good for no reason at all. New subscribers. Tonight's emoji will be a strawberry. Put a strawberry in the comment section. That's the first thing I thought about. I'm sitting here drinking strawberry lemonade. Put a strawberry in the comment section. That will be, or a lemon or a strawberry, either one in the comment section. I know it's some fruit in there, but that will be the emoji for the night's raffle. I mean, for the night's raffle submission at the end of the month. Thanks. Other than that, thanks for the like, share, some new subscribers. Thanks to the family, those who've been rocking with me. You hear me? Peekaboos and passerbys. Everybody count. You hear me? We all creating this together. You see, we all doing it together. So forth and so on. I appreciate y'all. Much love, stillness, abundance, love, light, health, and wholeness. Stillness, abundance, love, light, health, and wholeness. Stillness and abundance, love, and light, health, and wholeness. My name is Sawu. Peace.